Finally, Sports Club has come back.
To the
And
Mellow
it's right there
Mushroom.
to the Mellow Mushroom. Been a long time. We love to come here. Actually, come the pizza, everything here is
This
great.
is actually my first time. It's a great time.
What'd you think? It was great, wasn't it?
I'm ready
This
to come back next week.
this is one of our favorite places for sure. And also be sure that if you want to book your own sports club, just let us know. Hit us up on the website, and we'll come to your place to do it. But let's start with the big topic the entire year. The no luck for luck, I guess. Right now, the Colts are the only team without a win, and they're looking at Andrew Luck as the number one pick. But you also have Peyton Manning. I mean, what side do you pick on this?
Well, the controversy came out this week that they should trade Peyton Manning, and I'll be honest, that blew me completely away. I mean,
That's
you
the
have a
face of your
first round
franchise.
Hall of Famer, maybe one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of football, and you're going to say trade him for a rookie? That's just not how it works.
That's unproven.
You bring back Peyton Manning next year, and if you get Andrew Luck, unfortunate and fortunate
Yeah,
enough to get Andrew Luck, then you have him study under Peyton Manning, and then you can't go wrong studying under Peyton Manning.
no,
Period.
no. I mean, the same way, Mallet is a Patriot. I mean, he's
Under
going to be
Tom
great.
Brady.
But
No one knows the name Ryan Mallett right now except for SEC fans.
and
And in a
us apparently.
couple years when Tom Brady retires, Ryan Mallett's going to hit the scene, and
Exactly.
people are going to be surprised.
Exactly. But any college player is unproven no matter what you do. I mean, Mark Ingram's above the hype. But I do have to bring up some of those guys who flopped. The Ryan Leafs,
Yeah.
the,
Well,
Tebow, who we'll hit on a little bit later,
that's why
just
you
because you're
need to
good.
consider yourself fortunate when you have a player for your young quarterback to study under that's proven.
Exactly. And as much as we're not going to beat around the bush about this, the NFC South has become another close race already among the other divisions. But we're going to hit it real quick because I know a lot of you guys are Atlanta fans. Atlanta's actually right back in the middle of this. They're
Yep.
second now,
Yep.
with Tampa sliding down a spot, and Drew Brees still taking the Saints up to the top.
And it could have been completely switched had the games been. I mean, it's all one game differences.
And barring absolute disaster, actually Carolina could be a wild card.
Carolina could come back, get in this.
Definitely. But the Falcons' chances right now, I mean, if they could get Ray Edwards to actually produce, then I think Abraham and him can, redo this entire defense.
Well, I don't know what the Falcons found, but it worked because they have flipped that team. I tell you, I've watched most of the Falcons game, and the team that started the year is nowhere to be found right
No,
now.
this is definitely a different team. And then the other hot topic here lately is it was actually a fan question. Daniel from Dallas, we actually appreciate you sending this in. He wanted to know, is Tom Brady overhyped or is he still one of the best ever?
I think this is a pretty simple question.
I think he asked the wrong two hosts.
Yeah, I believe if he's looking for a negative answer, then he certainly does. I don't. I understand that Tom Brady doesn't have the defense on his team there, and that the Patriots aren't what they have always been. They're on a 0 for 7 in the playoffs for the last couple of years since they lost the Super Bowl.
Well, but they have no deep threat. I mean, we brought up before the show about Randy Moss said he would only play for the Patriots.
And I think they would be wise to give that a second thought.
Absolutely. Their deep threat right now is Gronkowski.
He's
a tight end.
He is good, but like you said, he is a tight end, and I get the problems that Randy Moss may bring to the locker room. There always was that. There always probably will be that. Players don't change.
But he behaved a lot more in New England than he ever did anywhere else.
And just like Chad Ochocinco,
exactly.
who has not fruitioned into what they would have liked it to be.
They threw to him, I think, between 5 to 8 times.
The last time,
I don't think he caught either.
Yeah, the last time I saw, he had 5 targets and no catches.
Right.
And
3 of them were not his fault, but still, he's used to 20 targets.
I think you got to consider bringing Randy Moss back or finding a deep threat. You just can't deny what
Wes
Tom
Welker's
Brady
a
did.
slot guy. You don't. But
and that's his role. That's
right.
What he's
but as
good
far
at.
as Brady being overhyped, no, he's on a team with no deep threat, and his only real weapon is Wes Welker, who's 5 foot nothing, and his tight ends that aren't deep threats. But is he still one of the best ever? Absolutely. Put him on any other team, and I think he doubles his passing.
I think put him alone, and he still stands by himself.
He can throw to himself.
3 Super Bowls speaks for itself. I don't care when the last one was. It's still 3. It's 3 more than I'll ever have.
Exactly. But let's hit some scores real quick. In what just, for lack of a better term, flabbergasted me, the Rex Ryan and the Jets, who for some reason we've decided not to bet on the Jets when it gets cold. They beat the crap out of the Buffalo Bills,
who were favored in the game.
Yeah, favored by 5, I believe.
something
But
like that.
27-11 on that one. Seattle didn't really stand a chance against Dallas. They hung in there for the most part, but they lose by 10, 23-13.
Tampa Bay was outmatched from the beginning with Drew Brees.
Made a good comeback, but still
Well,
lose it.
comebacks only go so far in this league. Drew Brees is one of the elite.
The Saints are just
He
that
isn't going
good.
to let it happen every time
No.
Tampa Bay goes down easily.
Uh,
Atlanta, who didn't see this coming? A cakewalk. It was fun for Atlanta fans. It was fun to watch. The catch by Julio Jones,
oh yeah, that guy is gonna.
I,
He may be the new Randy Moss without the attitude.
I was actually shocked that that was his first touchdown when they said when he caught that they said it was his first touchdown. I couldn't believe that, but he's got a lot more to come. He's got a bright future in Atlanta.
I
Atlanta
mean,
fans, you get happy because
Tony
y'all got
Gonzalez
good things
says
coming.
Tony Gonzalez has been quoted as saying that that is the most exciting receiver he's ever seen.
And he very well could turn into that.
And to piggyback our other thought, at the Indiana game, there were a couple jerseys that had luck on the back of them of the Colts variety.
Get on the bandwagon now.
Yeah, uh, that's to us. That's we both agreed. That's just disrespectful towards what Peyton Manning
It
has
is.
done. I mean, the stadium you have, the championship you have, that was because of that guy, not because of a pick you never made. But
What happens if they don't get him?
yeah, exactly. I mean,
That's a waste of a lot of money.
what if they end up trading that pick? What if? I mean,
Anything can happen.
exactly. Miami with a shocker. Actually, the only reason the Colts are undefeated in the loss column, the only team, is Miami over Kansas City, 31-3.
Kansas
This
City
is
had won
actually
4 in a row.
exactly. This is actually the Miami team that should have showed up at the beginning of the season. They could have arguably made a run and made it a 4-team race in their division.
Matt Moore had a great game, and they finally, I guess, found a quarterback. I'm not ready to say to stay with Matt Moore by any means, but
it's the best option they have right now.
but it is,
and it's working.
And now he's getting more comfortable with what he's got, and
Yep.
it's starting to show.
San Francisco in a close one over Washington, which was a lot 19-11. That's a lot closer than I thought a San Francisco game was going to be.
It made me as a Tampa Bay fan feel bad. I mean, if Washington can stick with San Francisco and they just wiped Tampa Bay off the map.
Oh yeah, and then Houston over Cleveland at home, 30-12.
That was a pretty obvious one coming.
Yeah.
Denver was actually surprisingly beat Oakland.
This was a shootout here,
Tim
and we'll get to the biggest shootout. But this was Tim Tebow, 10 for 21, 124 yards. He also rushed for 118 with 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's a typical Tebow day.
Well, we have more Tebow talk to come.
Oh yeah. Cincinnati beat Tennessee 24-17. That was, I mean, Cincinnati is the surprise this year, and
they are.
Andy Dalton is actually taking
Dalton
these guys.
and AJ Green. I mean, what can you say? They're the new Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford.
Absolutely.
They're going to be a name you get used to hearing because it's going to be.
Oh yeah. A
Matt
lot more than Stafford Johnson because Stafford stays hurt.
Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. You get these wide receiver quarterback tandems in your head because they're going to be around for a while.
And speaking of good tandems, we got to talk about the Giants' big win over New England. I mean, I picked them in this game, but I thought it would be as close as it was. 24-20 the score on that one. You got to say, I mean, Brady threw for 342 yards, but he had 2 interceptions against probably one of the best defenses in the league.
And it was a tale of 2 games, basically. I mean, if you remember, the halftime score was 0-0.
Yeah.
And then 44 points were scored in the second half.
I really thought I was watching LSU Alabama game.
I mean, it was crazy.
We had a missed
for the
field
first
goal
half.
too.
Yeah, exactly. And it just shows you what can happen in this league. I mean,
absolutely.
You're never comfortable. You've always got to keep playing.
I mean, like we said last week, the reason we watch is because anybody can win at any time.
Eli Manning, who got a lot of controversy in the offseason for proclaiming himself as an elite quarterback.
Absolutely.
And
I put him in the top 5.
People said, no, he's not with his older brother. He's not with Brady. He's not up there. And he made a strong case for it.
I mean, I hate to keep beating the dead horse, but he's made us kind of forget he had an older brother sometimes.
Yeah. Especially when older brother's not around to hog the spotlight.
Arizona over St. Louis in a
that was
battle.
Actually a close game, a really close game that went to overtime. It was an exciting game.
A great battle of the bottom 5.
Yeah.
2 of the bottom 5, but both of them are showing promise. I think once they get some guys healthy and Arizona finds the quarterback that works for them, they'll be good.
I actually watched this game went to overtime, and there was about 5 games that all wound down, and I was just flipping channels as fast as I could to frantically catch all I could of this game, and I caught the end of this game. It was a good ending to a good game.
Definitely. Green Bay at San Diego was by far the shootout of the day. I mean, this was like an Old West, just gunslinging battle.
Also, one of the games that I wound up finishing. I really thought San Diego might come back and get it done, but
I thought they did too,
at the very
and
last
Aaron
second,
Rodgers' interview at the end, he said, "I won't talk about me. Let me talk about everything else." The
yeah,
defense had two touchdowns
and they
for us,
they
and that
did.
kept us in it.
Yeah, they did.
And he says that after going 21 for 26 for a 247, four touchdowns, no interceptions.
That's the kind of quarterback you want to have.
Right. So if you're not going to talk about yourself, we're going to do the discount double check, and we're going to talk about you too. But
Well,
Rivers threw for 385 and four touchdowns too, but three of his he had three picks and two of them went all the way back. So I mean, you can't win games throwing those.
nope,
But he's having to sling the ball to bring this team back.
he is. And I think when they get some little more pieces, every year we say San Diego could do it this year, and they've shown promise, but they're just not quite there yet.
Just a hair off. The Sunday night game was just ridiculously awesome. Baltimore pulling out the 23-20 win over Pittsburgh. Flacco had a big day, 300 yards. Roethlisberger had a great day too, but they kept Flacco kept throwing to Torrey Smith there at the last thing, and finally caught him in the end of the end zone.
Well, if it
Beautiful
ain't
play.
broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. They knew he had the defender beat every play.
And it paid off.
Absolutely. Obviously, the Monday night game last night was another awesome one. I actually picked Chicago for this one, and they had the 30-24 win over Vic, who had no touchdowns and one interception, very un-Vic-like, really. It just seemed like the Chicago defense shut him down. He couldn't move. Every time he would try, he couldn't
Well,
scramble.
you sit on Michael Vick to stop the rush and force him to throw, and you trust that your defense can handle it, and Chicago's defense
Yep.
can handle it.
And between Cutler and Forte, it's hard to stop the Chicago offense right now. It's not the Mike Martz system. It's the fact that these two guys know how to play.
And Matt Forte is really, really, really good, people.
And I know I slammed Cutler, but right now his performance, just take the numbers out of it. I put him in the top 10. He's got to be the top 10 right now. Him and Eli are dragging their teams through this. But we do have some fan questions you guys actually sent in, and a few people that couldn't stay tonight for different reasons. The first one is it too late or too soon to jump on the Tebow bandwagon? I know we've seen some Tebow shirts around here today. One in particular, but is there even a bandwagon to get on?
Well, of course there's a bandwagon. I mean, they were chanting his name in the very first game. I think. Do I think he's the best quarterback? No, certainly not. But you cannot deny how his team plays for him, how he rallies the troops, and and how the effect that he has on his team. I think you got to stick with him. I mean, every game he's getting a little bit better and a little bit better, and you never know with this. I mean, if I was a Denver fan, I would certainly be on the Tebow train.
I mean, Orton's the better quarterback, and I mean I'm an Orton fan, but at the same time, it does. You take the numbers out of this one as well. You look at the leadership, and the Denver fans are behind Tebow. They're not behind Orton. The team is behind Tebow. They're not behind Orton.
Well, in the beginning of the year, they thought they were going to be playing for Tebow, and then we had the whole controversy with Orton. It was just bad to begin with, and now that it seems they've finally gotten it straight, and they get a win.
Exactly. Another question sent to us, actually by one of the cooks here, Keel. He sends us a lot of things. Keel, we appreciate it. He had his two teams that he likes to pull for. He wanted to know if the Cowboys and Jets have a chance to take their division. You take one, and we'll see what happens.
All right, well, I'll go with the Cowboys. I mean, the NFC East is just like the NFC South right now. Everybody is at a close race. I mean, the Eagles, everyone has had a shot at this. I think
Oh,
we
yeah.
can cross Washington off the list. I'm a bit skeptical. They, they may get a quarterback. We never know. But I definitely think the Cowboys more than the Jets certainly have a shot at their division. They can hang with the Eagles. They've beaten everybody so far. I definitely think the Cowboys can get it done there.
Definitely. I hate to just jump on the bandwagon and agree, but if anybody's going to win this, it's the Cowboys for the taking. If they don't take it, it's going to go default to somebody. And
Certainly,
it could be any of the other three.
exactly.
And then the most important question, I like this question. I like this question a lot, not just because we've already talked about Mr. Rogers and his neighborhood, but who will or who could beat the Packers this year because they're still undefeated. They're the only team.
They are still undefeated, but they also have not played Detroit either time. And I think,
That's true.
in college football, we just had the match of the century. I mean, with Alabama and LSU. And I think we're going to get the same kind of hype when Detroit comes to Lambeau.
Well, that's
Actually,
2 weeks away.
2 weeks away. Actually, it's Green Bay going to Detroit. It's 2 weeks away. And so in Detroit, watch out, Packers, because Detroit and Dominican Sue, they'll probably be running their mouth all week, but they're gonna come to play.
Dirtiest player.
That's definitely gonna be a huge matchup. I think Detroit takes at least one, and they still have Chicago on there, the Giants. You know, somebody. It's hard to prepare for all those
Right.
teams.
It's true. They do have a tough schedule. Um, I know there are a lot of Chicago fans watching this, but I don't think they'll be undefeated by the time they get to you guys week 16. I'm actually going to disagree slightly and say that instead of week 12, week 13, they're going to be on the road in the New Meadowlands against the Giants. I think the Giants are going to hand them
Or
their
if
first
there
loss.
was any time to take the Giants seriously when they knock off New England, it's time to pay
Exactly.
attention.
Exactly. But we do appreciate all the questions. And as always, you can find us on our Facebook outlet or YouTube as well. And stay tuned for the preview show. See you next time.